Hi, everyone. This is Michael Connon representing the TooMedToo's Star Wars Network. We've got your fix, and this is the Bacta tank. And I have some first-time guests on today. Well, my first-time guests, I should say. You've probably heard them at some other places or on their very own podcast. We have Dave and Liv.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
Doing pretty great. How about you?
I am. Well, I mean, it's May 4th, so
Star Wars Day.
it is Star Wars Day. Well, I was talking with some people earlier, and Star Wars Day is actually May 25th because it's the first day Star Wars came out. May the 4th used to be the nerd holiday, and then in the last few years it became really popular. Now everybody celebrates it. So the nerds are kind of going back to, this is when we get all the news because everybody knows about it. It's like when I don't know your what you follow, but do you celebrate Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, or things like that, or which one's the bigger holiday if you're a Christian? Easter is the bigger holiday, but everybody celebrates Christmas. So it's kind of one of those things, I guess. But yeah, Star Wars is all about politics and religion, so it makes perfect sense.
And taxation and trade routes.
Yes, don't forget that.
Right.
So why don't you tell everybody where to find you before or why we get started?
Absolutely. So you can find us we have a list of platforms that we're on, and you can find that at bit.ly/pizza and parsecs pod. And we are on the socials, on your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams at Pizza and Parsecs.
All right. So it's always a little bit, I always forget, like when I'm, talking to people or starting off the conversations, and I want to, get a little bit to know you better, get to know you. I've heard your podcast a bunch of times, so I know a lot of things about you, or little pieces here or there where, if it was on a game show, I'd probably be able to, maybe do all right if it was just stuff that went off the podcast or whatever. But for those of you that aren't familiar, or for people that aren't familiar with you, why don't you go ahead and, tell them about yourselves, how you know each other.
Well, we just met yesterday.
That's great. They've done 27 episodes today of a podcast.
I'm just kidding. Well, I'm Liv, and I am a professional dancer and love all things nerd culture. And met Dave online on an app called Bumble, and we hit it off like right away. I swiped right, and he was like the first person I swiped right on. And we met 2 weeks later and knew that, something was different about our connection and the qualities that we shared and a lot of the likes that we had that were similar. We're like, all right, we gotta go on another date. And then we went on like 4 other dates.
And then that was it. That's the end of the story right there.
Yep. And then we only see each other like once a month. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, obviously we had a lot in common, and we love geeking out together. Thinking about things like Batman, Star Wars, pretty much anything from nerd culture. And the podcast became a really fun avenue to continue to explore those things together, and also to introduce new things. Yeah. Because, so for example, like I dive deep into the Star Wars universe, right? And, diving into legends and the comics and whatnot. And where I'm like that, and she loves Star Wars, I've had the opportunity to kind of introduce her to that side of things and get her into things like Clone Wars as well, and Rebels. She is like an encyclopedia of Harry Potter. So she's got me into that and has been training me, so to speak.
Teaching you the ways of the wizarding world.
Yep. So going from one type of sorcerer to another, basically. And the podcast has just been a really fun way to explore those things, and we love geeking out together. So.
Oh yeah.
And then there's the community, obviously, folks like you, Michael, that have made this absolutely such a joyous experience. And the way that you got everyone's so engaging and positive and really empowers and is uplifting to other podcasts out there. It's supportive and it's a family, and definitely appreciate that aspect of this. So thank you for having us on your show.
Oh, I mean, that's what, it sounds weird because I'm not like trying to float, like set myself up to be, this great person or anything, but it's like, I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to bring people together. I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about Star Wars with, pretty much anybody that's going to talk about it in a positive manner, whether you love a movie or hate a movie, if you can have a civil conversation, and that's really what I want. I know people that are here all the time or whatever. I don't know if you've heard the story, but I wanted to make some Star Wars friends. So it was right before Solo came out. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I was watching some of these people that make YouTube videos, and I was like, if these idiots can do it, I can do it. I at least know what I'm talking about or whatever. And I mean, it's a lot harder than it looks. Especially I am not very computer savvy. So I still, after, I stopped really making videos to put up. Well, I burnt myself out. I was doing the history in video. So every day I was doing whatever happened on that day. It was taking me like 4 or 5 hours plus going to school plus working full time. So I was kind of doing that instead of sleeping. And after 2 months, I just burned myself out. And I'm like, I'm done with YouTube. I'm not doing it again. And in the meantime, after I started, I got hooked up with the good podcasts that used to be on the Making Star Wars Network, like Rogue One. They're the ones that found me just from whatever video that I had made, and they said, "Hey, why don't you come meet us?" And I never listened to a podcast. I didn't know anything about these people. Don't know what I'm walking into. I walk in, there's 35 people there. I'm the biggest nerd there. And I'm like, okay, well, now I feel bad about myself instead of, really feeling good. But yeah, so then I went from having no Star Wars friends to like all these podcasters, that get thousands of downloads a week, and that's on the low end. And becoming actually like personal friends with them. And then I got burnt out. And then when I went to Celebration, I'm sorry, I'm taking up all this time, but I went to Celebration, and I was like, this is what I want. Like, I want to be able to, because that's the best part of Celebration is going and meeting people and hanging out with people and talking. Like, yeah, everything at Celebration is fun to do, but the people are what really make it. And Ian just came in. Ian is one of my friends in real life. I was sitting at a bar with him, and we were talking about Star Wars, and one of our other friends came up and started talking to Star Wars with us, and I was like, this is what I want. I want to be able to just like talk about Star Wars and, like at a bar, people coming in and out, talking, doing whatever. And, then I found StreamYard, and it was over after that. So that's where I am now. So, yes, it was McGough. Could you guys see the chat? I don't know if you could see the chat if you were.
Sorry. There we go.
Okay. Well, no, just yeah. So, some people don't like to see it. Some people, it's like whatever's on there. If there's something that shouldn't be on there, I'll kick them off. But yeah, so that's where it was. And now it's just like, so now I want to talk Star Wars with whoever, and it's funny because the majority of the people that come in here are like podcasters or content creators of some sort that I make friends with through this. Not even having them on, but they'll come on. The other night, it was on Saturday nights, I do the Septic Tank, which is kind of my R-rated version or the not safe for work one. Girls with Sabers stopped in, and it was like 3:00 in the morning. We were just getting done. They're like, "Oh, we just saw you were on and going to stop by." So it's like, building the community with like that people that you really never talk to that much or that often, but they come on here and, and it's just, I don't know. So that's where we are. But all right. So anyways, now that the show's over, all right, see you later.
Good night, everybody. We have been Pizza and Parsecs.
So, all right. So how did you come up with the name Pizza and Parsecs?
I love pizza.
She does love pizza. This is
okay.
true.
Then the next question: pineapple on your pizza?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All the way.
Okay. Now, if you're having pizza with pineapple on it, what other toppings do you have?
Just pineapple.
I like chicken on there too. to be clear.
I like it with just pineapple.
Okay. Dave, you and I are going to be talking the rest of the day. I don't know what's wrong with Liv. She's
Oh
No.
my goodness!
I
like cheese pizza.
I like pineapple on my pizza. But I
Okay.
like it with jalapeno peppers or hot peppers
Okay.
and ham. And because you need something salty with it to go with the sweetness of it so they balance each other out.
See, I don't eat pork.
Okay.
So I would probably steer clear of the ham. But
Okay.
I have done chicken and I've done banana peppers with pineapple, and those are really good.
It's so similar, if you get a nice mesquite grilled chicken to put on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's perfect. Okay. Now we have a conversation. Black olives, onions, and anchovies. Now everybody's just talking about pizzas.
It's so good. I love pizza so much.
I'm so glad we ate. So right before this, we were recording we did our big arc recap of Siege of Mandalore, and we were recording for probably close to 3.5 hours. And all of a sudden, we're coming up on time here, and thank goodness we had just enough time to get a bite to eat before coming in.
I haven't had dinner yet, but I went to the store, and my girlfriend is on a Skype call or video call with one of her friends from whatever, because that's what people do now. Instead of just calling somebody or talking on the computer, it's like, hey, we're gonna set up a time to actually see each other because we haven't seen each other in weeks or months. And she doesn't even live here, so she lives in, I don't even know where she lives now, Colorado, Maine, someplace, Massachusetts, but yeah. So they're doing that, and my girlfriend's like, okay, you can go ahead and email out me. I was like, no, I'll wait till you're done. And so she'll probably get off her phone call. I'll be like, no, you go ahead and eat, and I'll eat afterwards. But I bought some chocolate covered pretzels. Went to the store to get stuff for dinner. So I opened up those bad boys and I ate about half a bag of those. So that was kind of like to hold me over till whenever. But
it's a solid app. App.
Okay.
Works.
Yeah. Now, okay. So what is your favorite type of pizza? This is going to turn into a food talk. We don't even talk Star Wars anymore.
Cool. I love food. My favorite thing on pizza is probably pineapple.
But just pineapple.
Just the pineapple, which is cheese and sauce.
But now you and Michael can't be friends.
I mean, it's okay because I like pineapple on my pizza. I'll also just eat a regular cheese pizza. I do like cheese pizzas.
I'm not a big fan of cheese pizza. See, it's like the big thing in New York is you just get a slice. You get a slice of pizza, and you can go to really crappy places, which is still halfway decent compared to most other places in the country. And it's 99 cents or $1 for a slice of pizza. But it's just, I want to, then it's like, no, I got to put some pepperoni. Well, you don't eat pork. So, put some kind of meat on there. Whatever. That's another $1 or $2. So it ends up being that cheap little $1 pizza you just grabbed on the way by ends up being like $4 or $5 by the time you put everything on there. But
I understand. I do enjoy New York style pizza. I've been up there once, and I ate pizza every day I was there.
The best pizza in the world is from Buffalo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's different about Buffalo?
It's, with all pizza, it's the water that really makes it. That's why you...
Sure.
And their pizza is like a New York style. It's pizza, but it's thicker and fluffier. So it would be like in between like a New York and a Greek, or a New York and a Sicilian. Thicker like a Sicilian pizza, but light and fluffy like a New York pizza.
Okay.
It's I don't know. It's just kind of Luigi's is okay, Ian. There's a well-known pizza place right by mine and Ian's house. And they have pictures of all celebrities that have been there, and they film movies there and stuff, just because the way it's set up, it's perfect for a pizzeria. And yeah, their pizza's okay. But yeah.
Now, so you're from New York, right?
I'm from Buffalo originally.
Okay. So how do you feel about Brooklyn Water Bagel?
They're just bagels, and they're great.
Okay.
No, it's that's the thing. It's like if you go from in Buffalo, they're just wings or chicken wings. They're not buffalo wings.
Okay.
You know, if you go to Philly, it's just a cheesesteak. It's not a Philly cheesesteak. You
Okay.
know, when in New York, it's just a bagel. It's not a Brooklyn bagel or whatever different names that. I mean, there's a bunch of different names for them. Now, all right, so we're not going to talk about Star Wars at all, I don't think. Chicago style pizza.
I like Chicago style pizza.
Okay. Now, that's my buddy Kylo from Kylo Customs said that's the only pizza that there is. End of story. But it's good, but it takes an hour to get it. And if it's busy, it might take 2 hours to get it. And a lot of people from Chicago say that they don't get Chicago pizza because it's a tourist trap for money. A lot of the people that like I was with in Celebration in Chicago that live there, they're like, yeah, let's get Chicago pizza, and then after having it once, everybody else is like, let's get it again, let's get it again. They're like, no, guys, it's just it's not really a pizza, it's like a pie, like a casserole or something, but yeah, so I don't know. But all right, anyways, so you swiped right, and now, why did you swipe right? Because it said so. It was just purely aesthetics. It had to do with the fact that like he had on a stormtrooper outfit, or
you did have a Green Arrow outfit in one of your pictures.
I was wearing my Green Arrow cosplay in one of my pictures, actually.
I think it had a lot to do with his bio, to be honest with you. And it wasn't just like the surface level things. There was a lot of deeper things that he had put on his bio, and he's more open about on his bio that really attracted me to him. But it definitely was there is not a dance floor I don't get along with.
Never been a dance floor I didn't like.
Yeah. I was like, all right, swipe right. We could date. It's fine.
And I was corrected by Ian. It's not a lot of movies that were filmed there, just Big Daddy.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, you'd think an Adam Sandler movie would have better pizza, but I don't know. There's gonna be like people picketing at my house because I'm talking about Luigi's Pizza is just being okay. But all right, so yeah. All right, we're gonna transition from food talk to I could go and talk about Ray and her portions, but all right, so now Liv, have you always been a Star Wars fan, or?
Yeah, my dad had us watch like the original trilogy from like birth. We were watching all of the movies, so every time when Phantom Menace came out, we were in the theater. When Attack of the Clones came out, we were in the theater. It was I was always on the Star Wars train.
And didn't he also used to read you like Heir to the Empire or one of the Legends novel? Or I guess back then it wasn't a Legends novel, but
Yeah, then it wasn't Legends novels. And I don't know where those books went. I've been wanting to reread them because I also have no earthly idea what the titles are. But he would, before bed, as like, let's go to sleep and read a book. I was homeschooled, so that was kind of like a normal thing to read before bed. He would read chapters of Star Wars novels, which was fun.
Yeah. And for me, like Star Wars was part of this group of movies so movies were one of the way that I would connect with my dad. It's kind of funny, my dad, my mom calls my dad affectionately Spock because of his somewhat emotional absence. But movies were one of the ways that I had the opportunity to connect with him, between that and things like scouting and things like. Anyway, Star Wars was one of those movies that we would do that over. And that's kind of where that deep-seated nostalgic connection to the films and that universe kind of came from for me. He didn't read me bedtime stories like he did you. So,
well, again, homeschooler.
Yeah, like, well, my girlfriend was raised with Star Wars because she has a brother that's a couple years older than her. Um, she's a couple years younger than me, but so she didn't, get the. I was born in '78, so I didn't get the first Star Wars. But my first memories of toys and Star Wars stuff was, the early '80s. So like I think when Empire came out, like my first real memory was the Cloud car, the orange car. Um, being allowed to play with that because I was never allowed to play with that because my cousins didn't want me using it or breaking it or doing whatever to it. And I would like that was the first like real like memory I have of Star Wars is like playing with that and them coming out with the Darth Vader case that held all the figures and everything. So I mean I was kind of born with it and grew up with it and it's always been there. I've always loved it. She grew up with it and knows about Star Wars, but she hasn't seen any movies since except for the original trilogy.
Okay.
No, she's in the kitchen right now. Did you hear? Did you hear what she said? Yeah.
Good option. That's a good addition.
Well, it's funny because like the other day, we're on lockdown, so it's like the other day she made me pancakes and spelled my name out in it. And then afterwards she's like, okay, when you're done eating breakfast, I need you to clean up your toys. And I was just like, she was being serious though, but it's like that's what my mom said to me 40 years ago. And it was like, and then like the next day it was like, okay, do this, and then like, all right, clean up your toys. We can watch a Star Wars movie if you clean up your toys. And I was like, okay, deal. And she's like, pick one, and I was like, well, I'll go with Solo because I know that that's the most fun out of all the Star Wars movies,
right?
And just starting off with like, if I was going to start with anything, I would have started with Episode 1. Just because you need that with the story, and the people that say, "Oh, you don't need Episode 1, just do the hatchet job or whatever, and start with 2." It's like, well, then you lose Maul and you lose Qui-Gon. So it's like you lose like the most badass Force user there was. Not the most powerful, but he's like the most badass. With Maul, and then you lose like the most Jedi of the Jedis. If you get rid of Qui-Gon. So it's like those are the two of like opposite ends of the spectrum. It's like so you got to start with that, and but yeah. So we're working on Episode 1 soon. We'll see. I just got to leave the house messy, so I get to like, can you please clean up? And I'll be like, okay, because yeah. But so that's the next one because I was like, well, we should just go right into Rogue One and get them, and I was like, no, that's kind of a heavy movie too.
It is
to do. So
Solo's definitely like the safest bet.
Yeah,
got that relatable character, or that character that relates to what you're familiar with in the original trilogy, and you get his backstory. And Solo himself is already such an interesting character, and you get to dive deeper into that in this fun experience.
And it's like one of those things I've told the story before. Well, she was like, yeah, she didn't understand why people had problems with this movie and why people didn't like it. And, I'm like, well, because they're idiots. And I've seen all of the movies that have come out since Disney took over with my father in the theater. No matter where I was, it just happens to be that I'm in Buffalo at the time that they're in the theaters. And the last one, I saw The Rise of Skywalker with them. And we got to watch it, and he's like, yeah, it was a good movie. I really liked it. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, and it was a Monday. I was like, you want to come on and talk about it with? He's like, no. And I was like, all right, well, go ahead. I was like, tell me what you thought about it. And so I can tell people. He's like, I thought it was a really good movie. It tied everything together really well. There's just no sound in space. Okay. If that's going to be your biggest complaint about the movie, that there's no sound in space, then I'm going to take that. And because he's just everyone says they're a Star Wars fan. And then once you start talking to him, you're like, oh, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Like, you've seen the movies maybe once, and don't really remember half of anything, which, that's fine if that's what you're into. But it's just when people, oh, I love Star Wars. You start talking, they're like, Darth who? A what? And you're just like, okay, just some of the basics. But yeah, so it was just, that's why it was a safe one for her. Everyone, there's 27 people in the chat right now, and they all said that tomorrow you should start watching episode 1.
Depends how much
I like her.
Really funny.
Deal.
Depends on how much cleaning you do. That's where it's at.
So, all right. So this is how she gets cleaning done for me. Bribery. It is like a child. It's like, you can see I got some of my toys behind me.
Right.
And then, you've watched the show before, and you've seen, I have a box to open. I don't know who it's from or what's in it.
Mystery box.
And then I have a case that came from Entertainment Earth, which I kind of know what it is, but I can't tell her that. So even though she can hear me because she's in the other room, it's like I'm like, all right, guys, I'm going to tell you guys a secret, and she can hear everything that I say. So it's not a big deal. She just doesn't say anything about it because it's like, oh, yeah, you're a nerd, whatever, okay. So all right, so you watched the Clone Wars today?
Yes, several times.
Twice.
Yeah. For me, so I still had work today. I've got 9 to 5, and before work, pretty much every day I go out and run anywhere between 9 and 12 miles. So before that, I wanted to get in a really solid Clone Wars session. So I woke up even earlier so that I could watch the latest episode, the series finale, and then rewatch the first episode, second episode, third episode, and then the fourth episode again before work this morning. And boy, what a way to wake up.
Yeah, it was now, my thoughts on it, I've shared a few times today in a few different streams. The last episode, so episode 3 of this arc, or episode
Shattered
11, yeah. I was like, yeah, come on, let's go. Order 66 happened. I wasn't upset. I wasn't, a lot of people, it really got to them, that's the turning point. And I was like, no, it hyped me up. It was like, yeah, it's like the war's really going on and raging now. And then the episode yesterday, I was just kind of deflated. Not because, okay, Clone Wars is now coming to an end. It was just like, wow. And I always do. There's always spoilers in here. So if anyone hasn't seen Clone Wars, I'm sorry. But, at the end of it, since it was just yesterday or this morning, that last scene with that character doing what he does because of that other character, I was just kind of like, see, you know exactly what I'm talking about, but people that are watching they're like, what? But it's just like, which brings so much more weight to Rebels. And yeah. I know there's some people that were upset that it was retconning the Ahsoka book a little bit, with the Maul and Ahsoka fight, and how the book finishes, and how Maul is stuck in a ray shield, and Ahsoka leaves him there. And this is, a little bit different, so people are upset with that. But it's like, this kind of fit better into the story. So, and it's movies, TV shows, books. That's the way it goes. So, yeah, the book's a little bit different than the TV show. But
I feel like you still go into the Ahsoka novel with, it still has that same emotional spirit to it, though. Outside of that, sure, there might be a couple details that don't line up perfectly, but you still have that same spirit. You still receive that same message. And that didn't really bother me, I guess, at the end of the day.
Someone wants to say, hello to you in the messages.
Hello.
Hi, Wookie Ross.
I will if Wookie Ross wants to come on, I'll have him come on in a few minutes to say hello to you. You might get a kick out of it. I don't know.
Okay.
There's somebody else who wants to stop on in a minute too and say hi to you also. But then we have someone else wants to ask a Rebels question. So ask away, Ian. Yeah, but it's like, I mean, I'm one of those people that we actually had this conversation the other night. Canon's canon and canon's fact, but canon's canon until it's not canon anymore.
Right.
Because there's so much stuff that happens and has to be unwrapped, and that takes place that it's almost impossible to get them to match up. But it's not like Darth Vader is no longer Luke's father. Oh, spoiler! Sorry, guys. But so it's like the little things. It's like the little things I don't really worry about too much. And it's just, I don't know. I'm like, that's what, if you notice, and you've been here before, the majority of the people that are in here are positive. And I've had people that have come into this chat and be like, this is one of the nicest chats I've ever seen, because people aren't fighting. Because it's like, if you're going to, be an idiot, and see, I'm trying not to swear because I'm doing this one on Facebook also. So usually I have a lot, I try and keep it clean, but sometimes I just teach myself new words. But so idiot's been the word I've been going with instead of other words. So I don't know what to say anymore. I got stuck by not swearing. What the hell was I talking about? See, my normal brain function isn't going anymore. Oh yeah, so it's like they come on here and it's like, if you're being an idiot, you just get ignored, and if you're harassing other people, you'll get kicked out. And it's like, if you get kicked out once, I go back in the chat and you get banned, or hidden, or whatever it is. It's like, there's no second chances if you're going to come in here and just, I don't have time for that. You can have your voice and say whatever you want. Just be nice about it, be respectful. You can think that Ahsoka is the worst character that's ever been in Star Wars, but you have to have reasons to back it up and be respectful. I didn't say that was my thought. I'm saying if that's what somebody thought, all right. It's not
Respect
like
if you do, but
it's not like yeah, it's not like I.
You're wrong. Like, I get it.
Yeah, well, that's what, you can be wrong, and I mean that's one of my good friends that comes on later on at night. We were having a conversation, and she's like, "Well, I don't agree with that." It's like, well, it doesn't matter if you agree with it or not. That's what canon is. Well, I don't like it. It doesn't matter. You saying that you don't like it is the same as the people that say that not my Star Wars or whatever. It's like, you can look at things and have a different point of view, and use different aspects of philosophy or psychology to try and figure something out, because there's always, if you're trying to do a psychological breakdown of someone, there's more than one possible answer for what you're doing. So you can go on that ever, but it still makes them, if someone's crazy, they're still crazy.
Right.
And you can try and figure out why or whatever the reason is. But
and I found that the people that are like, they have that violent opposition to certain aspects of the story, they're not really looking at this franchise or the story in a charitable way. This is a franchise that has given just so much. And like, if something kind of rubs somebody the wrong way and you're not making an effort to try to understand, like, why was that decision made? What can I try to see in this that will resonate with me? If you're not even making that effort, then it doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's like the other day, somebody posted, it wasn't on my wall, it was somebody else's wall, and I answered the question. It was about something about Rey and her being able to fly the Millennium Falcon. And they had whoever's wall it was on, they had replied, and then I said, well, yeah, plus she was a scavenger and she was building ships and flying them around on there, and she had a flight simulator. Well, it never said that. Where does? Well, in the books and comic books it says it. Well, I'm in England and it doesn't. We don't get those here. No, you do. You might not get them on day one, but this is 4 or 5 days old, so you can, or 4 or 5 years old, so you can find that stuff there.
Right.
And you can get the books. You can go to Amazon and use books. I mean, I get books almost every week, and a couple weeks ago I got like 12 or 14 books in a week. So when I open up on a Monday, because I hit up Amazon and it's like, okay, I have this much money to spend. I can either get a Funko Pop, which I don't collect. Sometimes I get them because they are Star Wars memorabilia, but I do collect Black Series, or order some Black Series or whatever. And it's like, oh, I can find all these books for cheap on Amazon, and it's cheaper the books are cheaper than it costs to ship them a lot of times. And I get them shipped over from England sometimes. And it takes a month to get them. It just depends, because the book was $3 and it was $5 to ship it, but it's coming from England. So it's like, you can't tell me that the reason you don't know something is because you can't get the material or don't know. Look at Wikipedia. And the person whose Twitter account it was told me today, they're like, yeah, I like the conversation you have with that person. I was like, well, yeah, if it was my Twitter account, I wouldn't have been so nice, but it wasn't a question posted to me. But, it just turned out the person wanted to argue about Rey. And I was like, well, there's nothing to argue about. Here it is. It's canon. These are canon facts. You can't tell me that from a certain point of view, you're right because you don't know what the facts are. But
yeah, you mentioned books earlier, and I just kind of want to plug real quick that today E.K. Johnston's book Queen's Shadow is free on Audible. Or sorry, not Audible, but on Kindle. So if you go to Amazon, it's free. I picked it up this morning as soon as I saw it. So I was, for what it's worth, if you're interested.
Now that one came out a few months ago, right? Was that the?
I think Queen's Shadow's been out for a while, because that was the Padme story.
Yeah,
a few years. I think it might have been a few years ago. I'm not sure.
Oh, was it? I don't know. I looked through my Audible list. I have 50 books on Audible, and I think 46 of them or 45 of them are Star Wars books. One of them is by Chuck Wendig. It's called The Wanderer. So if you like reading, The Wanderer is amazing. Kind of goes into, without giving you anything about it, because it was not at all what I thought it was going to be, just from hearing people talk about it. But it kind of ties into now, like, the end of the world kind of thing, or quarantines. But it was not at all what I thought it was going to be. And then the other 3 or 4 are books I needed for school. That instead of reading them, I just read with my ears. But yeah,
now, do you prefer audiobooks over physical copy?
Yeah, I will never sit down and read a book. I just don't concentrate well enough. And like you guys have noticed on Twitter, I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Sure.
My podcast listening has gone down quite a bit since I've been doing a lot more streaming. Because I'm going to be on with you guys I know you guys only have an hour tonight, but I'm going to be on with you guys for an hour, and then probably on for another hour with whoever else wants to come on and talk. So that's 2 hours. That would be like my shortest one ever. They usually go about 2.5 to 3 hours, but sometimes they've been up to 5 hours because I go to get done and it's 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm like, okay, guys, I'm going now, and somebody else pops on, and we start talking Star Wars or whatever. But yeah, especially being in New York City, I get up and, I walk the dog and, take a shower and have breakfast or whatever. Well, that's an hour right there. Well, that's I've worked up to double speed, and I can even listen to the Australians and the people from the UK on double speed, which took a little while getting used to. But I mean, that right there is an hour, and that's 2 podcasts. If you figure most podcasts are about an hour. That's 2 podcasts I can get done just doing that. Going to work and coming back, that's another 4, hour each way, or, give or take. That's another 3 or 4 podcasts I can get done. So I can get 7 podcasts done in a day just by going to and from work and, walking the dog or whatever. That's my claim to fame. I taught Rural Farm Boy how to listen to all the podcasts by bumping up the speed.
Wow.
Because he's like, how do you listen to so many? I said, oh, you got to pop up the speed a little bit. He's like, oh, I'm up to 1.2 or whatever. I was like, once you get comfortable at 1.2, just put up to 1.5 and, start listening to easy podcasts and shorter ones first. And some of them you only have to put that back down, but after a while you get used to it and just build it up to 2. Now books I do it like 1.2 or 1.5. I can't do it because you actually need to concentrate on the books and listen to the
Right.
words. But yeah, I've got every. I started about 2 years ago, and I've done every book that's come out. I've done 45 Star Wars books. All of them canon except for one or two of them.
Wow.
And when a book comes out, so it comes out on Audible at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I usually set my alarm and I get up and I listen to it for an hour or two. And I go back to bed for an hour or two, and then I get up, and I don't listen to any more podcasts or do anything else. I listen to that book until it's done. So I usually get done in about a day.
That's impressive.
That's awesome.
So, well, it's great and also bad. You gotta do everything in access. That's why I have a case of Black Series sitting out there to open up when sometime tonight. But so yeah, so Clone Wars, huh? It's you think we're gonna get any more Clone Wars?
No.
I don't. I think if we do get more Clone Wars, it'll be from a different perspective. Like maybe not. Definitely not from any of the lead characters for sure. But I don't. I know we had that animator come out and say, we'll keep making it as y'all keep as long as y'all keep loving it, or something to that effect. I'm not sure how much I buy that, though. I guess I don't know how much more we could do in this area.
I mean, I think they could do stories, short little arcs. I don't think we'll get full seasons, but they might do. Here's 4 episodes of this story, whatever it is, and it could be, maybe even pre-Clone Wars things, or they might do a season that talks about, Qui-Gon when Dooku was training him, or something like that. So it might not actually be Clone Wars, but it could be Clone Wars adjacent, or it could just be a story from characters we've had, and they think it might make a good little short story or a little short arc, or enough to make a movie out of. I don't think we're going to get a Clone Wars movie that's 4 episodes, or this one. I think they could take this and cut out the beginning screen and the end screen and make it for Disney Plus, which a lot of people have been talking about. That's why they think it's been set up that way, so you're not losing anything when like a normal Clone Wars episode would be, to try and turn it into something similar to that.
As you were talking, I thought of 2 different things. Number one, I think it would be cool to see a polished version of Crystal Crisis. And also, it'd be really fun to actually see an adaptation of Dark Disciple in the animated realm.
Which, I mean, that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, Dark Disciple was supposed to be an 8-arc story that they stopped making because they weren't making Clone Wars anymore, and they knew they had a good story, so they decided to do that. But all right, let's see. So the question here from Ian that he wanted to ask an hour ago that I just getting to now. Can I start with the latest season, or do I need to start at the beginning? I've watched some, but I've not followed. He's talking about Rebels. Or can I watch the latest and then start at the beginning? I'd say start at the beginning.
Definitely start at the beginning.
Just because of the continuity, and if you watch, I don't know how much he knows about it, but if you watch the first couple episodes or know a little bit from the first season or the second season, you're going to be like, wait, why did this happen? How is this thing going on? I don't know, main things with characters that impact the story. And Rebels, start with the beginning. All right. And you have someone that wants to come out here and say hi to you.
Wonderful.
Hello there.
Geeking out fully right now.
It's the Royal Frog Boy.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Count my lucky stars. How are you, sir?
No sound on you, Anthony. Can't hear you.
Miss Liv and
There you
Dave, I'm really good. How's my friends?
Outstanding.
Doing good?
And you, sir?
Oh, come on.
It's Star Wars Day. How can we not be like living
Well, I
the
ain't
dream?
muted. My mic's on. No sound?
Oh, you're good now.
We
You're
good?
now. Yep.
Oh,
We sound
You
good?
sound good. We can hear you. Sometimes his internet is a little funky.
There we go. There we go.
all right.
There we go.
All right.
Hi, friends.
Hello.
Happy Star Wars Day to you.
How's Miss Liv and Miss David?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
It is. It is.
There it is.
Just wanted to stop by and say how do to my friends. Yep.
Oh,
This is warming my heart in such a big way right now.
Same.
Thank you, Frog Boy.
Very well. Very well.
What you do for this community is nothing short.
Just wanted to take a second to be face to face. It is. Not about me, it's about Yuns.
I'm not good at it being about me. I'm not good at that. Get uncomfortable.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So, Anthony, what questions you got for
It's
them?
because what Yuns do. No, it's because what Yuns choose to do. Yuns choose to do and make sure.
And he's frozen.
In the Star Wars galaxy, what's your favorite dang it.
So, in the Star Wars galaxy, what's their favorite what? You cut out there.
Are we good now?
What's their favorite what?
Favorite helmet.
Helmet.
Miss Liv and David's favorite helmet from anywhere through the Star Wars galaxy. Yes. Yep. Can be prequels or original trilogy or sequel trilogy. Can be a trooper. What's your favorite helmet?
I'm gonna have to say the clone Ahsoka helmets. It would have been something different had you asked me a week ago,
Ooh.
but it's now
All right.
the clone Ahsoka helmets.
That was pretty dope.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like those. I like so I'm gonna cheat too.
Cheater.
I like the
Yeah.
The TIE bomber helmets. I think a lot of the TIE helmets are just really, really cool. Like blacked out. So
Yes.
cool. And I'm actually gonna
Yeah.
pull from Legends and go with Revan. Revan's helmet, which I guess is technically a Mandalorian helmet, but
Okay. Yep. All right. Not a bad pick.
What about you, Farm Boy?
Well, Dave, I was in the 501st Legion. I was a stormtrooper. TK 2066 for some years. Used to be.
Final answer?
I was also a biker scout.
Okay.
I was also a biker scout and an Imperial Royal Guard, and I was also an Imperial officer, and I was also a Tusken Raider. Yeah, I had some time in 501st Legion.
I like the Biker Scout
To let
helmet.
you know.
Biker Scout is really cool. I like that.
And then, all right, you guys got somebody else that wants to stop in here and say hello to you.
It's really badass.
Earl Farm Boy, someone wants to come in and say hello to them also.
Who else? Yeah, let somebody else in. Stephanie. Who else?
Hello.
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 Oh boy.
How are you doing? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, well, he's over in England right now.
Hello, farm boy.
Yes.
That's so
How you
cool.
doing?
This is awesome. How are you doing?
Ross.
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. Although it is 3:30 in the morning almost here, so
Oh, Michael, go and cut me out because Liv and Dave they gotta have time to meet Ross.
All
Set
right.
me back.
well, okay.
Bye, Anthony.
Bye.
Well, you might be wondering why I'm called Wookiee Ross Snoke. Well, mainly because I was very lucky to be a Wookiee on Solo, a Star Wars story, as one of the Wookiee slaves on the Kessel Mine escape. And also I played the body of Snoke in The Last Jedi, as you do. You know, I was the one who actually wore the gold robes, sitting on the throne, and Andy Serkis would do the voice and motion capture, but I was the physical body that you see on screen. So anytime Snoke had interaction with Adam Driver, colouring on the screen, that was me when I threw Ray across the throne room. And also when it gets chopped in half, that's my body that you see on there. There's a bit of magic. There's a bit of magic to move the camera down a little bit. There's a bit of magic to make it all work. But yeah, so I say working with Andy and Adam and Daisy, and just being directed by Ryan Johnson, and it was just a dream come true. And then I got the call to be a Wookiee, and this is I don't know if I can get that there. That's me. Yeah, I can't do that. And that's me there on the set. And,
Whoa.
if you have this Making a Solo book, you know, have a look through that, and you can see more pictures of us. But yeah, so there were three. You know, it was lovely. It was fantastic to do, amazing to do, and you know, doing these and now meeting Michael and you and Dave and Liv, and just being part of things we've made a fourth, and just everything to do with Star Wars. It's magical, and it's what makes it magical for me, and is to meet the fans, to meet the people who actually to make the film more than just a film, but it's like a community, an extended family, and it's I'm sure I can speak for all the actors who were in the roles. It makes our job so much more better, and the feeling of it to make someone smile, because that's what it's all about. It's to actually make a child or an adult, 5 or 50, have a lovely broad smile on their face, and that's what it's all about. It's all about bringing together, and it's a shame that COVID's happened, and you can't do that at the moment. But as soon as that's over, you know, it'll be fantastic. I like Dave's T-shirt. It's very good. I mean, I got my little number 8 T-shirt on there, the crew T-shirt, you know, sort of thing. So, but no, it's nice to meet. So, for me, you know, being a Wookiee, as I was a dream. I got to work with Peter Mayhew back in 2007. I was actually asked to portray Chewbacca, to dress up as Chewbacca, and Peter actually showed me how Chewie would walk and how he would sound, and to hold the bowcaster, and to be more believable to all the children and adults alike. And then, even back then, I thought, well, if that's the closest I can be to being part of the Star Wars experience, should we say, then I thought I had a man. But then, let's say 12 years later, I'm running around for real as a Wookiee. So it was like, and I think I partially, I know people a lot in that, because when I put the suit on for the very first time, I couldn't, you can't explain it. I don't think we've actually thought of a word to explain how I felt. So it was like, wow, I've actually, okay, Snoke was great, and I loved that, but to actually be what I dreamt as a young child to be was just like, this is crazy, it's amazing, it's awesome. Sorry, I feel like I'm taking over the show again, I do apologise. But it's, no, and so yeah, it's just fantastic, it really is. So apologies for the beard, I don't normally have a beard, but as I say, it's a morning beard. Yeah, sort of thing.
I've been trying to get Ross to get on Twitter, and he keeps saying that he's going to do it. Every time I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it soon.
No, I am. It's under construction. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, sort of.
Under construction.
It's what it is. I had one about 5 years ago, and I'm going to take my hat off because this is a bit hot now. I'm getting a ball patch now. I had one about 5 years ago, and then I can't seem to have a new one. My Hotmail address keeps on like wiping it out, so it's still. I've got all the illustrations, I've got all the images, and I've got, you know, and I'd love to have Dave and me to be, if you're on Twitter, to have that, you know, a Twitter connection sort of thing. So yeah, it'd be cool. But yeah, it's brilliant. And I was worked out the other day that just going back to the thing Wookiees again. Out of all the people in the world, right, I can probably count about 15 people that's actually been a Wookiee, you know, and I'm lucky to be one of them, you know, and so it's just, so that's just personal for me. But if I can give it back, if I can give it back to people and the fans alike, then I'd say it's such a joy, such an epic joy. But there'll always be one. There'll always be. I mean, Giannis is did a fabulous job as Chewie, but yeah, no, Peter was her daddy, I suppose, and there we are. So it is lovely. Yes, it is lovely to say hello to you, and thank you again, Michael, for allowing me to pop on for a few short minutes. Do you guys have any questions at all? As I've got like 5 minutes literally. Have you got any questions at all? Anyone that maybe I may not necessarily know or not?
I mean,
You know how I told you it's kind of hard, like when you two came on, it's like I know so much about you already, so like asking you, like, you know, it's kind of like I could probably sit and be like, oh, this is how you're going to answer this question or do whatever. Like Ross comes on and I want to be like, tell him this story, tell him this story, tell him this story. And it's like, no, it's not. Oh, it's kind of weird.
Well, let's see. I can see. I can answer certain questions and certain things. There's only a couple of things really that I can't really sort of go into. But if you have any sort of like, anything to do with either episode 8 or Solo, because that's what I know more of, then please ask away.
Oh my gosh, I feel so unprepared right now.
Do you guys know Johnny Orm? My Life Debt. He does okay. He has a podcast and a blog. He's over in the UK. I was on his podcast last week or 2 weeks ago, and I told Ross was like, "Oh, I want to come on and say hi to him," and I was like, "Okay." So like Johnny said, "Wants to come on and say hi to you," and he didn't know who it was, and Johnny was like, "All right," and then he starts talking to him a little bit more and more, and Johnny starts figuring out in his face. Like his jaw just kept dropping and dropping and dropping as he totally fanboyed. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to keep my composure.
Oh no, don't worry.
That's possible.
No, my other friend was on here and she started crying. She cried 4 times while we were talking. So.
It was lovely, and to be honest, and she serenaded me as well. So I've never had that happen before. So that's quite nice. Yeah. So. Yeah, no. As I say, that's what makes it so enjoyable. And as I say, it's not just a film that it's not just a job. This is it's an experience. It extends. And as I was saying, Michael's Cup. I'm probably on Michael's Cup, which is kind of weird. Snoke. I mean, I don't know if it is the Last Jedi Cup, isn't it? Or...
No Snoke on this one. Oh. There is. It's hard to see in the background. It's really light, but I don't know if that's. Yeah.
He's still there. Because that one thing that people say to me, like, I thought Snoke was CGI. He is partially CGI, but a special thing for me is that I've got a slight curvature of the spine. And when the AD went over to Ryan Johnson and said, Ross has got to kind of apologise for my voice, I have got a bit of a croaky voice tonight. Too much parting with blue milk. So the AD went over to Ryan Johnson and said, Ross has got a curvature, does that matter? And Ryan said, oh no, we'll just give Snake a curvature. So Snake wasn't going to have a curvature like that at the first, and it literally was my body frame. So in turn, I was when I was taken into a room full of 60 cameras, they all took a photograph of my body, and that got turned into the figures, like the Black Series figures and the Elite Series figures and the Pop figures, and basically any illustration of Snoke has got a curve, and that's my curve. So that's like, That's
I think my favorite one of my, well, there's a lot of stories, but that's one of my favorite ones. That's the one I was going to be like, tell them about the action figures, because that's the one that's like, the most tangible, and like most, I'm not going to say not most people, but you can look at a picture of Snoke and see it right there, where the other stories he's going to tell you about people or things that happened, they're amazing stories, but just like that one, in my opinion, it's like, he, forever. He's any picture, any action figure. That's Ross.
I like to call it my curve. I like to call it my curve appeal.
Yeah,
it's a bad joke, but
that's so cool.
I mean, I was. People say, like, did you take anything off the set? Now, obviously, you can't take it off the set. But if you require it at the end of the day, then, to be honest, it's yours to keep. I managed to, basically, there's a bit of hair that fell off of one of the suits, and it managed to find its way in my shoe, and so I've got it sort of like tucked away somewhere nice. So that's, it's great.
It's a nice keepsake.
Oh, yeah. yeah, it's screen use Wookiee hair, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can't steal Wookiee hair or Wookiee fur, but it falls off the costume into your shoe when you're going home and you don't realize till you get home. You know, you just kind of put it in a jar and save it forever.
It happens to everyone, really.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
Yeah, it's one of those things that happen, you know. But yeah, no, do you have any? I've literally got about 3 or 4 minutes. So would you like any other questions at all? I mean, just very quickly.
just the opportunity to express gratitude for hopping on here on Star Wars Day, no less. Like, we really appreciate you jumping on here. This has been really cool for us to experience this. So thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. And as I say, if we stay in touch on Twitter or another one of these webcam things, it'd be great to meet you again.
You got it. Absolutely.
Well, thanks again, Michael, and cheers to you guys. I suppose anyway we can say this is well, for me it's Revenge of the 5th, but for you guys it's May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Take care. See you later, mate.
All right, Ross, I'll talk to you later.
Take care. See ya. Good night.
Good night.
Surprise!
Oh my goodness. I can't. I'm going to die a happy person, that's for sure.
That was so cool.
That was so neat.
Well, I was at the grocery store buying some stuff. I can't say what it was because I don't want anybody to hear me. But no, like I got sent there for vegetables. You know, because we've been eating a lot of eggs for a while. Were so expensive, and now they're cheap as hell. So like you can get a dozen jumbo eggs for $1.49, or you pay $7 for organic eggs. It's like, well, I'm not going to pay for organic eggs anyways. But it's like, so you know, we've been having eggs for breakfast a lot, and it's like you got to have fun with them. So like onion, pepper, some meat in there, some cheese, or whatever, make kind of like scrambled omelet or whatever. Anyways, I don't even know how to tell you about my whole life story. I'm sitting there and I'm standing there in line. And Ross called me and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Nothing." And we're talking about Star Wars and we're talking about today. And it has to be funny because like we're talking like Star Wars stuff and like YouTube and production and Twitter and everything. And you know, it's just like, oh, and Tatooine and Sons, or Tatooine and Sons. It's Tatooine Sons, not Tatooine and Sons. I'm friends with them, and they were on a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to Ross about them and how they're, you know, Facebook, and they signed a deal with Facebook, so they're exclusive with them, and or not, I don't know if it's exclusive, but they signed a deal with Facebook, so they're doing their thing on Facebook. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, you know, these people got to be sitting here listening to me talk. And I was like, then again, it's New York City, so you know, these are probably like normal conversations that you're having about somebody signing a deal with Facebook, and you're a Wookiee and Snoke and whatever. But yeah, so it was just funny how like Liv's still kind of like just smiling.
I'm freaking out. Like this, I cannot wait to go and tell my dad and brag and tell him what just happened. He's gonna be so jealous.
Well,
I'm also just a smiley person, so.
Well, that's I've been seriously trying to get him to get on Twitter, and I was like, listen, you know, you come on, you talk to these people, and you say hi or whatever. But I was like, but you know, if you were on Twitter, they could get a hold of you so easily, or send you messages and get things out there and whatever. Where it's, you know, people are like sending me their email address to give to him so I can like search it back and forth and everything. It's just like, just get on Twitter, man, please.
It's really not that hard. Twitter's easy now that I know how to do it.
Well, this is the first time he's told me before he was working on it, but that his Twitter that he has, he's basically locked out of it, trying to get onto it. So I can understand if you have a Twitter that you were on before and pictures and everything already up there, so you don't have to, you know, mess with it depending on the extent. And then I don't know if it's just the same name that he wants that he has or the friends list or whatever, but yeah. So I mean that's kind of more understandable, but
yeah, for sure.
All right, so see, you were just like, we're gonna go on, so Michael will stop bothering us, and now you're like, yes.
No, we've been looking forward to this. When Dave told me that you had invited us to your show, I think I geeked out hardcore. And I think it was like right after the gals had asked us to guest on their podcast. I had a whole week of just like freaking out of exciting geekiness.
We were very fired up when you asked us to be on your show, especially on May the 4th. I mean, that was huge for us because we love your show, and we would have been on here anyway to celebrate with you. And we just really appreciate the opportunity to actually come on here.
That's dope.
This is an award-winning network. It is for the best pod appearance. So it is the best podcast to go be on. Not that I have the best podcast, but it's the best podcast for people to come on and talk to. Not that I'm the best person to or whatever, but that's my claim to fame. I got that. It was I was one of the finalists, and it was a poll that was on Twitter. And I beat out a couple well-known long-time podcasts or whatever, and somebody that they just came out with some magazine just did an award for. Didn't you? Wait, were you on that list? Didn't you just get an award too?
Us?
Maybe.
Are you talking
from
about
Maggie of the Town?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. See?
Yeah. That was exciting. I was on Twitter because I'm on a separate, so we have our podcast, and then I have a separate podcast with some friends. It's
the other podcast.
It's like whole 180 shift. We talk about completely different things, and I run the social media for that. And I was just scrolling through and realized that Pizza and Parsecs had been tagged in something. I was like, oh, let's check that out. And it was the top 10 to listen to on May the 4th. And I texted Dave immediately. I was like, you have to look at this right now. Oh my gosh.
And I didn't respond quick enough so that she calls me like 5 minutes later, like, you need to look at this now.
Let's be real. It was 60 seconds later I called you. But yeah, it's we're still really new. We're still really, really new. And to not only be on a list like that, but be invited to a show like yours, and the Galactic podcast asked us to be on their podcast. It's a huge honor, especially since we are brand spanking new to this. We're, just getting our feet wet. So it's really exciting.
And it really speaks to, like, once again, coming back to the whole community aspect and lifting each other up and supporting each other. And it's, just this overwhelming sense of gratitude for it.
Yeah, I mean, that's, Rural Farm Boy will tell you if he was having problems with his internet, he'd tell you, it's not about me, it's about we, is his one thing that he always says. He's got a couple other ones, but it's true. It's, if, like, I don't want to sit here and make a video and also for the fact that I suck at editing and, not the editing, but like all the computer graphics and put everything in and make it look nice. It's like, I don't even have, at the bottom here, like, the TooMedToo's thing or whatever, because I don't know how to make banners or whatever. I need someone that knows how to do that stuff to, help me out and do it, and just be like, here's the TooMedToo's banner or whatever to go along the bottom. So, it's like, it's just kind of like, I'm at the basics now. So it's, but yeah, it's not about me. It's about, if I didn't have people to come on here and talk to Star Wars about, I wouldn't be doing this, because I'm not one of those people that want to sit there. I mean, I have a hard enough time droning on, with guests on. Could you imagine if I was talking, just doing a half hour, an hour by myself? Like, I'd talk, like, I mean, it took us a half hour before we even started talking about Star Wars.
Well, we were talking about other important things.
Like
True.
Pizza toppings.
Like, and food. Like, food is always important.
Yeah.
I am obsessed with food, so we could talk about food all the time.
Somebody probably heard their ears burning.
Hi. Hey, we were talking about you just a second ago. Also, Lauren, Baby Yoda today. I just had to make sure she knew I was wearing Baby Yoda today.
NBD.
Yeah. We talked about getting tattoos, I just want that out there.
Well, all right. I don't have any tattoos.
I have 3.
I don't have any right now.
Yeah, 3. Got one here, one on my wrist, and one on my rib cage. None of them Star Wars related yet.
Then they don't really count.
Okay.
Fair.
Sure.
Fair.
All right, fine, they count.
Yes. Okay. I mean, I went through the pain, so I would hope they kind of count. This one hurt the most, though. I gotta tell you, that one was pretty painful. It was painful.
Right there.
Yeah. That was pretty bad. That was the worst one.
I would have thought the rib cage was pretty
Keyword
bad.
yet. Yes, I see that, Lauren. Keyword yet. Baby Yoda right here. Right here.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Until you decide. Until you decide to change your hairstyle, and then.
Yeah. This is a very, very grown out version of my hairstyle. I have not had a haircut since before quarantine, and it's mulleting really bad. It's bad.
Yeah, mine.
Same here.
I get I get a 1.5 on the sides, and it's been like 3 months since I've had my hair cut, so it's down past my ears, just driving me crazy. And I have I don't know if you can see this bad boy right here. I just recently, I was working. I'm an essential employee, but my doctors have me out of work. One, because I had symptoms that I'm in New York City, so it's New York City, so unless you're in the hospital and dying or whatever, it's like I either had like some kind of upper respiratory infection, which is very common, or I had COVID-19, but we'll never know. Well, antibody test afterwards. But then I had some other health issues with my lungs and things in the past. So my other doctor's like, well, why don't you just stay out for a couple more weeks just to make sure? I was like, well, okay. That's nice. But Ross just sent me a message. He said, sorry he couldn't stay and chat with you guys longer, but he's got to go to bed because it's late there.
Understandable. Not everyone can be night owls like me.
Yeah, just like you.
It is. Well, it's almost 4 a.m. there, so.
That's about when I go to bed. My job requires me to work in the evening, so I can sleep in as long as I want.
I cannot.
So,
I have to wake up early.
I'm a dance teacher, so.
It really depends. On Friday night, or I guess Thursday going into Friday when episode 11 came out, I decided at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, whatever it was, that I was going to end the stream because I wanted to go to bed, because I did it just for that. It was like, it's a 4.5 hour stream starting at 2 a.m. or whatever. And then last night I was waiting to go on Blue Bantha Milk Co. Their stream, because they're in Australia. So they were doing it at 6 o'clock their time, which is 4 a.m. here. I was staying up to go on their stream, and I fell asleep and woke up, and it was over. So, but so it just depends on the day. Some days I go to bed at 12. Sometimes I go to bed at 6. It all depends.
Pretty consistent 4.
Pretty consistent, like 9.
You're pretty consistent 9. I'm a pretty consistent 3 or 4, but that's because Animal Crossing is consuming my life right now. So,
I'm usually about somewhere around 3-ish. Well, it's now when I was working, it was later because I wouldn't get home from work until 12 or 1.
Okay.
And then walk the dog and get on the computer for an hour or 2, and then it's 3 or 4. So like 3 or 4 was the normal time. Now it just really depends on what's going on, what time people get me on here. And see that people going to bed already.
Oh, good night, Lauren.
Night, Lauren.
Lauren, thank you for stopping by. And you can go back and watch the replay.
Wow, we're dorks.
Go back and watch the replay. You can watch them meeting Ross. I don't think Lauren's ever met Ross.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna show everybody, like, look who I met. Look who I met.
Well, because he was in the Tatooine Suns.
Oh, the one you were on earlier, right?
Yeah. And in the chat there, and I was like, hey, you guys, Ross is here. He's a Star Wars. And no one really said anything or picked up on it, so I don't know if they just thought I was being like whatever. And then I was like, hey guys, he's a Star Wars actor, and like no one responded to it or whatever. And then later on I was like, hey guys, he said something, somebody had mentioned something. He's like, oh, he said it was an actor. I was like, oh, you're an actor. Any movies we would know? He's like, oh, just some space movies. And I was like, you spelled Star Wars. I was like, you spelled Star Wars wrong. And he's like, okay. And just, I don't know. I mean, normally if you're in a chat, someone's like, oh, this guy's an actor. He's been in some Star Wars movies. You're just like, yeah, okay, whatever, because the chances of that happening. And I had been friends with Ross on Facebook for a couple of years and never really, I knew that he knew I knew he was a Star Wars fan, but he never came out and said, hey, listen, this is who I am. And I never like looked into it or asked, like anything about it. And then we were doing the one stream, and I'm horrible. If the chat's slow right now, if it's on YouTube, it's going, usually there's twice as many people in here, plus whatever's, and there's twice as many people in YouTube, plus whatever's in here or on Facebook or whatever. So yeah, just the way that it goes, I usually don't pay attention to the chat because I just can't keep up with it and whatever. But now that it's slow, I have no problem doing it. But we were going through the book because I do the Holocron House. So even though I'm a network, it's a one-man network. But I have the Bacta tank, I have the Septic tank, I have the Holocron House. I have collecting with Kylo. Well, it's my buddy Kylo that does the collecting thing with me. But that's like once every month or two or whenever we do it. And then one that I did a while ago with my buddy Mike from Rogue One, the Coruscant Coach's Corner. Because I don't know if you guys watch hockey at all or know anything, but Coach's Corner, it's Canadian. Like the one guy, he goes crazy. He's like, just starts screaming, going crazy. The other guy just kind of stands like, all right, dude, calm down. And it's funny because I'm the calm, non-talkative one, which might be kind of hard to believe, but that just shows how crazy he is. See, then I lose my train of thought. But it's like, yeah, so it's like, I'm the one-man network, but I'm always doing something or trying to have something going on. So we were doing the Holocron House, and before I was going through the visual dictionary, and I stopped doing that because the art of book came out and people wanted to see the art of book. So I've been doing the art of book, and he came on, we were talking about, and I wasn't paying attention to the chat, and I look over, and the entire chat's full of him just like saying, hey, can I come on? I want to talk to you guys. Hey, can I come on? And somebody was like, is he telling the truth? I was like, I mean, I don't know. He's a Facebook friend of mine. We'll see. And I was like, all right, yeah, come on, because anybody can come on. But he was trying to say like, hey, this is who I am. And then they're like, oh my God, get him on. We just Googled him. We know, or look at his IMDb or whatever. And I was like, yeah. And then like, that's how him and I now, he calls me when I'm trying to buy groceries, talk to me about, whatever. But it's just kind of funny how things like that happen.
I mean, that's amazing. That's so dope.
Well, I know I know. Oh, and I say like it's like nonchalant, but it's like it's not. But yeah, I mean that's how it went to, like, that's just how I get lucky with this stuff for Star Wars, where I went from having no friends to podcast friends. From in 2 weeks, I went from having no friends to friends. Podcast friends that I became personal friends with like Rogue One and the Sith List, the guys that run Tau Swift on Facebook. a bunch of other ones, Cannabite, and then I go and spend, stay with them at Celebration and all these other people, and Bad Motivators and everything. It's like I went from nobody to like all these great people. I was like, yeah, the only way it would have gotten better is if it was like Ryan Johnson and like John Favreau that said like, hey, come and hang out with us. But yeah, so it's like I like, and not that I'm downplaying it, but it's just like this stuff happens to me. I don't know how. Just like people that go to Celebration and left and right, they're just meeting all these like actors and directors and stars. It's like, how are you doing this? Like, I want to know how you're doing it. They're like, I don't know. I just walked down the street. It just happens to me every time. And it's like,
classic.
yeah, so on brand. So, all right. So I'm not trying to kick you guys off, but I know you said you didn't have long. You only do an hour, and you've already.
It's about that time.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let you stay on here and talk all night long. I don't care, but I know you said you guys had to leave at 10:30.
Yeah.
And it's 11 o'clock now, so I just don't want to.
Dave still has to work in the morning, and while I'm not an essential worker, being a dance teacher, I'm not allowed to go into the studio. Dave works from home, so he's got to go to bed and get himself ready for work tomorrow.
Yeah. But once again, just extending our deepest gratitude for you, Michael, for what you do for this community and for inviting us on your show and for letting us hang out with you and everybody that's viewing it right now. Just gratitude. Glad we could celebrate with you guys.
Yeah, it was a huge honor. Yeah, thank you so much.
Well, I mean, I know you guys have been in the chat before, so it's usually 8:30, but I moved it to 9:30 because Tattooing Sons were doing theirs at 8, and I wanted to watch it. Their first one to go. It was like, all right, guys, because it's my show, I can do what I want. So instead of being 8:30, it's 9:30. And we'll see what happens. And then I'm not on YouTube this week too because they are silly.
I would love to know more about what's going on with that because I've been seeing that happening with a bunch of folks.
So on last Thursday, Friday, or whatever, I did the live one, but I had this idea. I'm gonna invite a bunch of people, and then make it private, so that it wouldn't be viewed or whatever or unlisted. Because in my mind, like then okay, fine, like people aren't just gonna go watch it or whatever. And I got a copyright strike or a warning for that. So then, because I was showing it, and that one was my fault, I deserved it. I just had it showing on a private one, and I wasn't talking. We were just watching. It was like some of us just watching it. And I got hit for that, and I was like, okay. So then when later on, I did the rest of it, and I did Shattered when it came out, but I didn't have it on the screen at all. And I actually was worried because I was watching it on TV. I was like, what if I get a strike because it's on in the background of the sound? Like, what if they get me for that?
Yeah.
And then everything was good. And I was like, okay, good. I was like, all right, well, for this next one, I'm going to do what everybody else does. I'm going to be myself on the full screen, and then just have a smaller one with it playing, and everybody else is doing it. I should be fine. I didn't even think I should be fine. I was like, this is how everybody else does it. I'm going to do it that way. And I went through and I looked at like probably 10 or 12 different channels. And I was doing it, and I got hit with a copyright strike. And I don't know why I got hit with one and none of these other people do. And the only thing I can think of is I was actually streaming it live, where these other ones do their live reaction, but they record themselves doing it live. And people told me they're more strict with live streaming, things like that, which I don't know if that's the case or not. All these other ones I was looking at, though, they have, a few thousand or 10 or 15,000, 20,000 subscribers and have 50, 60, 80, 100,000 views. So I don't know if they kind of let them go because they're getting ad revenue off of them, and us little people that don't have the ad revenue coming in because we don't have the 1,000, or even if we did have the 1,000, if we're only getting, a couple hundred views, I mean, I think mine was up to my one from Shattered is up to almost 900 views, which for me is great because usually when I do my streams like this, I get about 60 or 70 people watching, and then over the next week or two, I get another 60 or 70 people watching. So I usually end up somewhere between like 100 to 150 after it comes out for a week or two. I have one that's I did about Ben Shapiro being an idiot because he talked about Solo, and that one's got like I think 4,000 or 5,000 views. But a lot of people don't like that one. I think I'm at like 50%. I'm like even for people that like it and don't like it. My best one though was I was just laying there in bed when like for the Oscars or whatever, and I recorded with my phone off the TV. When like BB-8 and whoever, I don't even remember who else it was that came out, and that one got like 80,000 views. But I didn't do anything. I just laid there in bed and recorded the TV and put it up there, and that never got a copyright strike. That never did anything. There was Star Wars music on and everything. But then I lost I went down to like 20,000 views on it. They took like 60,000 views away from me. I don't know why, but they did, and it wasn't like right after. It was like months after. So yeah, I really have no idea why, and I'm waiting to hopefully get an explanation so that I know why I did the exact same thing other people are doing, and I got hit and they didn't. The only thing that I can think of that's different is I was live streaming it, and they do theirs recorded. So I'll probably never know the answer, and I'll never be able to do it again because, well, if I get another copyright strike and until August, I lose it for 2 months. And then if you get another one and whatever, it just got shut down. So I gotta be really careful for the next until August, that I don't get anything else in trouble. So I won't be doing anything or showing anything. But even if they do reverse it and say, okay, you can have it back. Well, it's a reaction. And how many other 10,000 channels did a reaction? So what kind of views am I going to get a week after?
Right.
The reaction. So it's kind of pointless. It's pointless. I would like the strike removed, but it's not going to do anything for me because, the 150 views I had on it or whatever it was, in the first 10 minutes before I got kicked off isn't going to do anything for me now because, it should be somewhere in the thousands, I'm going to guess. Because I didn't even set up my my keywords on that first one that I did until the day after in the afternoon. So everybody had searched all day long, never found mine. So all my 900 views came after it had already been out for 20 hours or whatever. But yeah, so it is what it is. I'll be back next week, hopefully next week. Just because, I don't know, I won't know my kind of viewers until later on, but it's usually, probably 3 times this, which is just more exposure for you guys that you could have had and more people seeing Ross for, but.
Hey, you were here. We came for you.
Yeah.
I was here for you though. That's the thing. So, and then you had surprise guest step in.
That was amazing.
That was awesome. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to stop talking now so you guys can go.
Well, appreciate it. Appreciate you guys out there for supporting us. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, tell everybody really quick one more time where they can find you.
You can check out our show on bit.ly/pizza and parsecs pod. You'll find a list of all the different podcatchers on there. And we're on the socials, your Facebooks, your Instagrams, and your Twitters at Pizza and Parsecs.
All right. Dave and Liv, thank you very much for stopping by and getting tanked.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. And may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. All right. Have a good night.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was a very good featured guest to have on. Like I was saying, it's kind of hard because I know them from their podcast, but because they are new, I only know a little bit about them. So it's kind of hard when you're I know all the answers to the questions I'm asking, or the majority of them, but I don't know enough that I can set the questions up to get the right stuff coming out. But if there's anybody that wants to come in here and chat, let me know. I'm going to send that right there for you. We got to make sure we do a little bit of the, I got a little bit of stuff to open up for us. Just seeing. There's a lot of stuff that I missed too today in social media that I didn't get because I wasn't on Twitter or doing anything like that. So let's see what we got here now. All right. Let me go try and find Kylo Customs so I get somebody to talk, or anybody want to talk about some toys with or collecting, or I tell Girl Kylo to come on here, but those are the wrong kind of toys. Kylo Ren Flores, get a hold of Kylo Customs and see where he's at, because I have some toys to open up. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened today. We got information that they were putting out about Taika Waititi is going to be doing a Star Wars movie. That's really all they said. He's going to be doing it. It's going to be, I didn't read it that well, or I looked at it really quickly. It's a couple of, I don't know if the assistant directors or the directors or whoever else or writers are going to be female, or if it was more of a female cast. Mark Hamill did an interview that was released today. I don't really think they said anything much about toys today. There was a couple other things too. I mean, I could probably go and look, but then I'd just be sitting there staring at the screen and not talking to you while I try and read and figure out what's going on. Let's see what Star Wars says really quick about anything. Star Wars says, "May the Force be with you. May the Fourth be with you." Oh, yeah. The I can't even talk right now. Mandalorian, the docu-series is out, and the first one is directing. I watched it half-assed. I was watching it while I was listening to or watching a stream today too, because the Great Order did a marathon, and I was hoping to be in it, but I just didn't fit into the schedule. So, but I went to every stream and said hi to everybody and gave them a thumbs up, because got to show support for those content creators. Today was a little bit crazy because it's a lot more. There's a lot more people doing streams every day, or streaming more often because of everything being locked down or quarantined or whatever you want to call it. And then with today being May the 4th be with you, a lot more people did streams that normally don't even stream, or that haven't been doing extra streams, or we're doing streams today, and people were deciding to come out with a bunch of news today. So like, you had the GTO, or the GTO did their marathon, and a bunch of people that don't normally stream streamed, and I was on streams with a couple people. And there's a new network, the Red 5 network, that has a bunch of podcasters, and they are. I haven't even looked right into that yet. I know a bunch of people that through hints that were dropped are talking to them. Figuring stuff out when they're all doing artwork together or whatever. That was what it was going to be. but yeah, so I still got after this a lot of stuff to do, and I got movies to watch. And tomorrow is Revenge of the Sith. I'm sorry, Revenge of the Fifth. So it is like the hangover leftover day of it. So I don't know who that was.
Tomorrow is you better do something around the house. Or you gotta find a place to live.
Tomorrow is I better do something around the house because I've done nothing but today I watched 2 Star Wars movies. I watched 10 live streams. I was in a live stream.
Your
And
mom was so wonderful and didn't ask you to do anything other than Star Wars.
yes, what she said. So I didn't realize how bad this mic is at picking up everything. It's not directional at all. It just kind of picks up anything. So I know you guys just heard everything she said, so I don't need to repeat it. I figured that out when she was talking to me from the kitchen, and people were like, "Oh yeah," or from the bedroom. But all right, so I don't know. I don't know if where Kylo is. I'm gonna give me a second right here, real quick. I think I'm gonna finish Attack of the Clones tonight, and I'm gonna watch Revenge of the Sith. Or I might decide that Star Wars Day is over for me and go spend the rest of the day with my beautiful girlfriend. Because I still haven't watched Outlander from last night, or you got Fat Cheeks. You can do that. It looks cute. What else did I not see? Something else. Yeah. So let me go see where is that Kylo boy at. Oh, he just made some dinner for himself. That picture's from an hour ago. So, all right. Well, I at least have one thing to open. If he's not going to come on here, and if nobody else wants to come on here and chat, that's fine. All right, I will go and get my one thing that I have to open, and then I still have a big thing to open, but that one can wait. Do 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 do. All right, so I got this. I need someone here to help me with this. We need the magic question. No, nobody? No one's going to ask me the magic question? Not a single person. What's in the box? That's the question you always need to be asked. What's in the box? What's in the box? Let's see what we got going over here anyway, not me. Oh, and Jedi Fallen Order. New shit just came out. New things, sorry. I was checking to see who we got in here because some of these people I just don't know who they are. Not that I don't appreciate them being here. You know. But all right, so I guess we're gonna do it. I have that other box too. That I was gonna open. But I guess I'll just wait on that until we get some more people in here, some more collecting types. Or make sure that I might save that too. I got this to open. Maybe I'll just save that till next week to make sure I got something to open up for next week. So. Oh, sweet. I know what that is. I got this. The Enfys Nest trading card. And in the back of these, all these make the Millennium Falcon. My father would go to Denny's. I think after he gave blood or apheresis or whatever, he had to do something. He'd go to Denny's. And he went to Denny's because that way when he went to Denny's, he could get those cards for me. That was his excuse. I think he just wanted a Grand Slam. But we have in here this bad boy. Boba Fett. The red one. Now for this Funko, I think this is just a regular red Boba Fett one. I didn't get the big 10-inch ones. This is from WonderCon Anaheim. I didn't get the big 10-inch ones. They have this one. They also have a black one. I don't think either one of those are out here. No. I was gonna get the big ones, and I was like, no, I don't really have room for those. I knew the big regular boba is on its way, I believe. That one I want. I need still for the Futurama line, Futura 2000 line. The artist that does this is Futura 2000. It is going to be is the Boba Fett like this, but it looks like he got hit with paintballs, all different colors. That's the one I need. That's one's been out for a while, but before I got hooked up with this good collecting group and a bunch of good friends, was really hard to get, and I didn't want to pay the $50 or $60 at Amazon, not Amazon. No, Kylo Ren Flores, that one didn't come. The big Boba, the 10-inch, that one hasn't arrived yet. I got Kylo Ren Flores sent me this because I didn't have the Revan. She sent me this and another pop last week, which is very nice for her. She is very nice. She's a good friend of mine. So, yeah. I guess that's about it. I mean, there's a lot of news, but I don't really. I just know a little bit of it. Didn't because I was so busy today. Normally, on a normal day, I'd do a little bit of news here and there, do a little bit of social media, do a little bit of live streaming, or see what's going on. Oh, Kylo just got here. Show Kylo this. I got this. This is my one thing to open this week. I got something else to open, but I think I'm going to save it till next week. Yeah, so any people that are watching right now that are collectors, the Elite Collectors Squadron, right? Isn't that the name of our group, our friends? Elite Squadron. I don't know. I'm tired. I had plans after this. I'm going to do Fallen Order and everything. And I'm like, I got off with David and Liv, and Ross left. David and Liv left, and I was like, all right, I'm going to open that up. I'm going to do some streaming afterwards, and I think I just hit my wall. There you go. I was right. It's just a bunch of people in there that they go and they find stuff, and some people ride around and go find them. Some people are able to find stuff online. I'm usually able to find a couple things online, and I order an extra one or two, and that way, if someone needs it, I can send it to them. Figure it out that way. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's it for tonight. I'm gonna eat some dinner and probably go to bed. Yeah, I don't even know what to do with my shit anymore. Oh, here it is. Yeah, it's a big group of people that help out others, or just share cool stuff. It's like, yeah, I know it's late, but I didn't have dinner. I had my window for dinner was between that one stream I was on, with Roadcast, and before Tattooed Sons, or before Rebel Scum started, because Rebel Scum was before Tattooed Sons. And it didn't happen, so I just decided I'm going to do it later. And I'm going to be growing going to be growing some members very soon. I'm a very important member of the community. I'm very well respected. People know me. People know me. I'm very well respected. I'm a member of the community. But yeah, on here tonight, if you were watching, this is an award-winning network, and I had on 2 guests from an award-winning podcast. And if you look back, Bombadcast, they were on last week. They're an award-winning podcast. The week before that, I think, was Lunga. He should be an award-winning podcast if he isn't, but he's a successful selling author, so there's that for him too. And then I had Tattooing Sons. They're a multiple award-winning podcast. And the week before that, I had My Friends. And they're award winners because they're friends with me. And before that, we had Weaver Girl 27, who yeah, sorry. River Girl 27, who probably should be winning awards for her book once it's actually finished and done and up there. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody's an award winner but me, I guess is what it says, even though I already showed off my award here earlier. Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's not lit up right now because I don't have it plugged in, but yeah, you can see it right there. Because I am the best podcast to be on, the best podcast to appear on. Not the best podcast, not the best podcaster, but the best one to be on. So, just saying. With that, I say good day. May the force be with you. Oh, psych! I'm not done yet. I need to let you know before I'm done with this. I do have a Patreon. It is Patreon, whatever you gotta do. Dot backslash TooMedToo. Just go to Patreon, type in TooMedToo, and give me some money, and I can name your name off like this: Kylo Ren Flores, Kylo Customs, Chris from Kentucky, Rural Farm Boy, and Mr. Rez. That's what this is brought to you by. And that doesn't help me buy these toys. That helps me with computer programs and computer stuff and websites and StreamYard and all that good stuff. Because even though I love doing this and hanging out with you guys, it still costs money. With that, I say good day. May the force be with you.